Hello, my name is James Wolson. I'm Professor at Aston University in Birmingham in the UK. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about the SK850AE, which as you can see is a perimeter. It's very much along the style of the Humphrey visual field analyzer that you'll be very familiar with and gives the same sort of readouts which are really useful in clinical practice. In terms of the instrument itself, it is self-calibrating, so when you turn it on, it's taking into account the environmental illumination to make sure that both the target and the background are accurate for your testing. As you can see, like other visual field analyzers, it has a lens holder built into it, so you can easily adjust for the patient's prescription, and the machine then will do the rest. Also, it has the ability to monitor eye movements, again improving the accuracy of the examination. And one of the really nice features of this machine is it will do that in an automatic way, so it will actually make those slight adjustments for you of the patient to keep them aligned rather than you having to do manual adjustments all the time. And in the plot and trace, it also keeps a view of that, so you can see when you plot out a trace exactly how good a patient's fixation was as they went through the testing. It has a touchscreen automation, making it very easily, but you can also then have a wireless keyboard and mouse to allow you to very quickly enter the patient's data. It has USBs, so you can download the information. It also has Ethernet, so that allows you to take the information away into your own patient management system and be part of your functioning system. In terms of the tests it has, like other visual field screener systems, they have a multitude of screening approaches available to you. You can select which one you want to use. If you want to do threshold analysis, it has the typical 24-2 and other programs in there that you can have automatically. But also it has a really nice feature where you can customize a visual field test to exactly how you want it. So if you want to examine something in much more detail, you can actually design your own test and choose whether it picks, for example, the age-adjusted level as its starting point to speed up that test, or a previous threshold. And like other visual screeners, it's also got the ability to track visual field defects over time, and so you can see the functional changes of an individual patient, which is much more useful, particularly as we know that visual fields can be a little bit noisy. A lot of that noise is taken out by the instrument's automation, but it's still useful to see that progression over time, to see, for example, whether treatment management is working, and to a certain extent how compliant the patient is being as well. In terms of the printouts, it can also do things like your glaucoma hemisphere test. So again, a lot of the features that we would be very familiar with in terms of our testing. In terms of the software then, very easy and functional to use, and with all of those components that I talked to you about already, and fast screening tests as well as your traditional screening tests, so you can do the test more quickly, particularly in those patients that are more reliable. In terms of the printouts, I've got a few here. They look fairly similar to what you would expect from this type of visual field screener. So in terms of the grey pattern deviations, but also your total deviations and your pattern deviations, all very familiar then in terms of your interpretation of exactly how it's performing. And as we said before, you can see just about at the bottom here that trace of your fixation eye movements to see how good and solid this test is, and some of your markers here in terms of fixation losses, again to assess the quality of the assessment. And again, not just will it do your screening and your thresholding test, it will also do your specialist tests such as your Estimon test, binocular tests for your driving. So again, all of the functionality you would expect in high-class visual field screeners are available in this instrument. So hopefully you've seen from this very short podcast that this instrument, the SK850AE, offers all sorts of possibilities for you in terms of your visual field screening, very much matching the top of the range instruments that you can buy to do your perimetry. Thank you very much for your attention.